Every bit of me is because of him, actually. I've been accused of being a Nepo kid, but the name of my party, the symbol that my father actually selected for his party, is taken away from me. Eventually, I believe that everything boils down to your potential, your capabilities. If you have it in you, I don't believe in vindictive politics. We have bigger issues and better issues. I'm pretty confident of myself.
We used to come and see your dad and interview him and give him tough interviews, and you were always there.
Always there.
So you learned some things from him, right?
Yes, I've learned. Every bit of me is because of him, actually. Knowingly, unknowingly, he's taught me so much. And mainly unknowingly. He never used to babysit me. He never used to, make me sit and, tell me that this is what you should do and this is how you should talk and this is how you should behave. Never he did that. But subconsciously, he was teaching me. Now I realize that subconsciously he was teaching me throughout.
And did he some nuggets that he used to say that you now recall? Oh, that made a lot of sense.
Oh, yes. If anybody used to ask him that, that how you shaping him up, and what are those political tips that you giving him for future and all that stuff. So he had this very famous line, he used to repeat it repeatedly, and he used to say कि मछली के बच्चे को कभी तैरना नहीं सिखाया जाता. And that used to give me a lot of confidence because he gave me that space to make mistakes. And he always used to say that I'm there like a paperweight. You go, you do your thing, and even if you make mistakes, I'm there to take care of it. This is one thing that I really miss after him.
I just want to ask you that Nitish, in many ways, divided your family. This is what people say. Now he's going around, his main form of attack is family politics against Lalu and Tejeshwi. It's all family politics, you guys. And it's an indirect, people say, attack on you also. So if he says that ever in front of you, face to face, what would you say to Nitish?
Well, to be very honest,
Family
by
politics.
nature, I'm not that kind of a person, who gets into, you need to get very low in politics, when you talk about these things, And I believe we have bigger issues and better issues especially concerning my state, which even still is being addressed as a backward state. There's a lot more that we can do rather than talking about these issues. Having said that, I'll just a little correction when you said that he was the one responsible for breaking
I'm not saying it. That's what people say.
Yeah, that's what even people say. But honestly speaking, it was actually my own people, who betrayed me. Had they been there with me, I don't think there was anybody else who could have, made this possible. So I was actually betrayed by my own people, my own uncle, my own brother.
But you've come back with a bang. No, but one of the things you just said is that when people say things like family politics, it's a low in politics. So are you saying Nitish has hit a low in politics?
I generally don't believe in these caste politics, in this, parivar politics, in this communal politics. I don't really believe in all these things. I genuinely believe that if you've got that potential in you, me coming from a heavyweight surname family might be a blessing for me, but that cannot be my potential. That cannot be my capability. Eventually, I believe that everything boils down to your potential, your capabilities. If you have it in you, only then you will succeed. If you don't have it in you, no matter how heavy a surname you're carrying with your name, nothing gonna help.
Your father didn't have any ministerial post for 20 years.
For 20 years.
After he was elected. Is this your period too of building up?
That's right. And thank you for addressing and recognizing that, because when it comes to my father, people hardly talk about that phase of 69 to 89. He first became MLA in 69 and he first became a minister, a central minister in VP Singh Ji's government in 89. And then again, there was a bad phase of another 5 years when Narasimha Rao ji was there and he was not in power. He was a member of parliament though. But then there was Gujral Sahab, then there was Devegoda Sahab, and then there was Gujral Sahab, followed by Bajpai ji and all. And then, he continued to be in power. But whenever my father's been remembered, he's been remembered as Mausam Vaigyanik, सरकार किसी की भी हो वो मंत्री रहेंगे. This is how he's been remembered. But nobody really talks about that 20 years of struggle.
How do you see the politics shaping up in 2024?
Well, I mean, if you talk about electoral politics, I think
In Bihar,
I think, I don't want to sound overconfident when I say this, that it's one-sided, but actually it is one-sided. I have my reasons to say so because I myself, I do a lot of research. I work on a lot of data. I work on a lot of statistics myself. My belief comes from the fact that in 2019 we were just three parties together. It was Bharatiya Janata Party, it was Janata Dal United, and my party. My father was there that time though, Lok Jan Shakti Party, and it was just three of us, and we managed to bring in 39 out of 40 seats. This time we have two other stronger allies with us, which were not the part of this alliance last time.
who lost all the seats last time.
Yeah,
Every seat they fought, they lost.
because they were on the other
I
side.
was wondering why we took them on because, they got nothing.
No,
last
they
time.
got nothing. Could be a reason because of the alliance that they were in. Eventually, yes, your alliance and who's leading your alliance really matters. So yes, this time we had Majiji with us. We have Upendra Kushwaji with us in the alliance. So I think that has made our alliance in terms of percentage even a stronger alliance than 2019. And that gives me the confidence that we lost one seat in 2019, that was Kishanganj. This time I believe that we'll manage to bring that in and making it 40 out of 40.
One question about, it's 20 years since Nitish has been in power here with most of the time with all of you. Do you feel that Bihar has actually developed enough during this period?
Well, I genuinely believe that there's always scope for improvement. There's always scope for improvement, and a lot better could have been done. And I'll be very honest when I say this. Having said that, yes, I do believe that the irony of my state, and now I believe it more because now I can relate to it. And when my Prime Minister talks about double engine ki sarkar, I know now what it means. Me being a member of parliament, I have also faced this because for the longest time, I was in opposition in my state, though I was with the government at the central level, but I was in opposition in my state. That gave me a lot of hurdles, that gave me a lot of problems, to implement my agenda, my issues, my things. For example, I couldn't get a land for Kendriya Vidyalaya in my own constituency. Eventually, I had to go back to the center, and they had this railway ki zameen in my constituency in Jhaja. And so I took that over and handed that over to HRD ministry then, and now education ministry. And Kendriya Vidyalaya has been built on that land.
So you did a bit of jugaad.
I did a jugaad.
but it worked.
But it worked, yeah.
So one thing you just said,
Yeah.
very telling, that you don't believe in caste and you don't believe in families. And I mean, family does help, but it's not unless you deliver, nothing. But you don't believe in caste.
Yes.
Now the Paswans are on ground discriminated against by the Brahmins and the other OBC upper castes and all that, and they have a tough life, right, on the ground. But you're allying with the people who are discriminating against them. How do you justify it? This is what people are saying.
Yeah, right.
How do you justify it that you're allying with their on-ground exploiters?
So, again, learning it from my father, I think my father was one politician who had wonderful equation across the party lines. Even his strongest opposition, leaders from the opposition party used to like him on a personal level. That's the kind of belief that you need to build with the people, not only your people. And when I say my people, I'm talking it very politically, my caste and, people coming from the weaker section, section of the society, Dalits, Mahadalits. But yeah, that's the kind of belief that they see, they have in
But isn't it tough, weaker section allying with the stronger sections, exploiting the weaker section? Isn't it how do you justify it yourself first?
Actually, not really. Where I come from, I believe that when I talk about weaker section, okay, so now if we leave the caste aside, let's talk about economically weaker section of the society. And there are people coming from every caste and creed in that section as well, economically weaker section, and their problems are same. They relate to each other. Even if they are upper caste, even if they are backward classes, even if they are scheduled caste or scheduled tribe, anyone coming from the economically weaker section of the society, they share a similar problem. So yes, I mean, at that level, things are not that difficult. And if they have someone, who they believe in, and I think people from upper caste as well as people from scheduled caste and scheduled tribe as well as backward classes believe in me, I would want to believe that they believe in me and they see that hope in me. And
You
is
don't
the
see
reason
some
why
no contradiction.
not really
Slight
actually,
contradiction.
maybe a slight, but they actually gel well like hand in glove now.
Let me ask a question, slightly different question. You now have an opposition leader, Tejasvi, who at one stage was like you, much younger.
Yeah.
Now he's at government experience. Does that make him a more formidable opponent?
Well, I don't know if that matters.
No, I'm just asking a question.
I mean, I have never even given this a thought, to be very honest. I'm pretty confident of myself. And I don't think any constitutional post or rather any post. When I started my struggle, sir, I'll tell you very honestly, I didn't even know where I'm heading towards. Back in 2021, I clearly remember it was an evening like this on 13 June, when there was a split in the party, when there was a split in the family, and I was thrown out of my own family. I've been accused of being a nepo kid, but the name of my party, the symbol that my father actually selected for his party, is taken away from me. I started from the scratch. Just keeping that belief in me. That belief in me. And then again, I'll tell you one more line that Papa used to tell me without telling me that how much he's teaching me. He used to say that during your difficult times and if you don't understand what's happening around you, just go out to the people, just reach out to them and they'll show you the way. And that's exactly what happened. It was on my father's birthday that I started this Ashirwad Yatra in 2021. And it was 5th July. On 13 June, it all happened. And it took me 10, 15 days for me, my family, my mother especially, to hold back. And then from 5th July, I started this yatra. And there was no looking back. So I started with this yatra with that belief that Papa told me, go to the people and they'll show you the way. And having that confidence in me. And that time, again, I had no other, except being member of parliament, no other experience. I didn't even have a decent experience of being a national president of the party. Today itself, I was talking to someone that I've been distributing symbols to my candidates who will give me the symbol. This is for the first time this is happening. My father used to give me the symbol, In 2014, he did that. In 2019, he did that. So, I mean, this gets a little emotional for me every time, when things like this happen.
Talking about caste and things, does Ram Mandir or religion and politics now override the caste when people are voting? Because there is a lot of caste-based politics.
I believe, when these things happen, like construction of Ram Mandir and stuff, and I supported it strongly. I do that in my state as well. I say and I believe that, if we can have such a beautiful, massive Ram Mandir in Ayodhya, why can't we have the same in Sitamarhi of Mata Sita? Maa Janki ki dharti hai ye. So why can't we have that mandir here as well? So I am a believer. I believe in that. Being a believer, yes, I mean it. I feel good, when something like this happens. A. B. I believe that religious tourism is another extremely unexplored territory, especially in my state. And there's a huge potential. If you go down south, if you go to Maharashtra, look at Shirdi. Just because of Sai Baba, it has become such a beautiful city and such a self-sustaining city now. The same thing is happening in Ayodhya. The same thing is happening at various other places. Ujjain, Mahakal, Kashi, Vishwanath. All these places happening. So I believe that this is an unexplored territory, religious tourism that can be explored. Yes, I mean, it fulfills the astha of every believer, who believes in this. That is one side. But the other side and the better side that I look at it is it generates so much of revenue. It makes you a self-sustaining city in itself, if you have such places. Now, I can imagine 10 years down the line, if we have such a beautiful mandir in Sitamarhi, the whole area will be taken care by that. I can give this example in my own constituency. I have this Lachwar, and that's supposed to be Bhagwan Mahavir's Janamstali. Now I have made a beautiful mandir there. Now there's a 108-bed hospital that has come next to it. There are resorts coming. There are little MNCs, joints coming. So now gradually that place is lifting by itself. So I think Asta on one side, but it generates a lot of revenue, and which is much needed for a state like ours.
So from what you're saying, it seems to me you're being positive about religion, and religion should be positive. It should not be politics, and it should not be hatred. Is that right?
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
You shouldn't attack a community on the basis of a religion.
Not at all. Not at all.
I have one last question, and this is what people have asked me to ask you. That you're part of a alliance now, and the figures are that 85% of ED cases, CBI cases go to opposition parties, only 15%. And if you want to get your cases removed, join the BJP. People want to know, what do you think of that?
Thank you for giving us a little cushion of 15%, because I hardly hear that also. So that gives me a little space.
But is it fair in democracy?
No, not at all. It's not fair if this is how it is, I don't believe in vindictive politics. I don't believe in this vendetta. And that is not correct. Having said that, I do believe in my judicial system as well. We would have been heading towards anarchy if we don't believe in one of the strongest pillar of our democracy, that is judiciary. And I believe when they say that you are innocent until proven guilty. So if somebody is not proven guilty, and I believe that somebody who is not guilty cannot be proven guilty. Yes, there might be charges on you. There might be, you might be thrashed. You might be, investigations might be taking place on you.
And you can spend 5 years in jail while they're deciding.
Oh, well, that's again,
not fair.
That's not fair. Justice delayed is justice denied. Again, that's also one thing that I believe in. I'm a student of politics, but then yes, I have a very, very strong belief in our judicial system as well.
God bless you, and may all your strong positivity come through.